You've plugged things into an outlet more than 10,000 times in your life, and you've never once noticed that those two tiny holes in the prongs are there for three completely different reasons. Because the answer isn't what you think. To understand why those holes exist, you have to go back to the early 1900s, when electricity was brand new and nobody really knew what they were doing. There were no standards, no safety codes. People were screwing light bulbs into sockets and jamming improvised adapters into the wall. Electrical fires were common. Plugs would spark, overheat, and fall out mid-use. Engineers had two problems to solve. How do you keep a plug firmly in the outlet? And how do you make it safe for millions of people to stick metal into live electrical sockets every single day? The answer to both problems was hiding in a detail so small that most people go their entire lives without noticing it. Here's the locking mechanism nobody told you about. Many outlets are designed with small spring-loaded pins on the inside. When you push a plug in, those pins snap into the holes on the prongs, locking the plug in place. It's the same principle as a seat belt clicking into position. That click tells you the connection is solid. That's reason one. And reason two is about safety. A plug that's halfway in is dangerous. The prongs make partial contact with the outlet, which creates heat, sparks, and potentially fires. The locking system solved this by making the plug either fully in or fully out, never dangerously in between. Some industrial and high-power outlets still use this locking system today, especially in environments where plugs are exposed to vibration, heavy use, or constant pulling. Here's where it gets more interesting. Reason 3. Cheaper manufacturing. When factories stamp prongs out of sheets of metal at massive scale, punching holes reduces the amount of material used. It sounds minimal, but there are hundreds of millions of plugs produced every year. Every tiny hole saves a fraction of metal. Add all of that up, and you have an enormous industrial saving that no manufacturer is going to walk away from. Here's the part that surprises most people. Those holes are not legally required. They never were. There is no electrical code in the United States that mandates plugs have holes in the prongs. Some cheaper plugs don't have them at all, and they work perfectly fine. So why do virtually every manufacturer in the world keep adding something they technically don't have to? Because over more than a century, those holes became part of the DNA of what we recognize as a plug. Removing them would be like releasing a Coca-Cola in a bottle without the curve. It works, but something would feel wrong. And that's the thing about design that lasts. It survives not because it's required, but because it solved so many problems at once that nobody can justify taking it away. So next time you plug something in, take 1 second to look at those holes. A locking mechanism from the 1900s. A safety feature that prevents fires. A manufacturing shortcut scaled to hundreds of millions of units. All of that in 2 holes smaller than a matchtip. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person who's going to love the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if this was worth your time, the like takes 2 seconds and makes all the difference for this channel.